Good morning. Good morning. And thank you for your patience. Good morning to everyone who's watching this live. Good morning to watch, or good whenever to everyone watching on the replay. I'm so excited to be here with you today. Sunday morning, I'm Ashy. We're going to take care of that. Today, we're talking about how to divest from America. This conversation is specifically for Black women, and this is going to be one of those lives where I have some ideas, but I want your ideas too. I want this to be more of a collaborative moment where we all kind of talk about the things that we are doing or we can think about doing, maybe the things that we want to do but we're not doing yet, that will help us stop supporting a country that doesn't support us. So today we're talking about divesting. I'm very excited to be here as always. I use the word excited a lot, but I really mean it. This is going to be one of those days where we really get down to it. So let's go. Let's go. Ready? Ready? Let's do this. Okay. So you probably don't need me to tell you why now is as good a time as ever to clock out of America, check out, leave it behind. This channel, if you're new here, hi, my name is Rashida, and I left America in 2018 for a career break. That saved my life, right? I sometimes say that my career break changed my life, and it did, but in a lot of ways, leaving the US, leaving the toxic environment I was in, saved my life. I can recognize that now. I can say it easily now because I know how true it is. And I've spent the last 5 years banging the drum and telling everyone who has ears to listen, and specifically Black women, that getting out of America will change your life, definitely, and it can save your life. So in the last 5 years, I left in 2018, things have not gotten better. Things have not gotten better. And I'm still telling Black women, leave the US behind. There are better things out there for you. So today we're going to talk about how to do that in a sense, but we're also going to talk about what you can do for those of you that are in America now, what you can do to slowly check out. When I was really burnt out, and I was seeing a therapist, and my job was terrible. Terrible job, terrible people. One of the things my therapist asked me was, what is the least amount of work I could give my employer and still remain employed? Because she was like, you're trying really hard to win or like to succeed, to prove your value to people who don't want to see it, right? She's like, they don't want to value you. So you trying to be of service and show that you can do the work and all the things is not going to help you. It's only going to hurt you. And that's how I feel about America in general, right? Like a lot of us show up every day and we do the hard work and we clock in to life, clock into the fight, clock into everything. And there's very little to no payoff. And so I want to have a conversation with you today about what's the least amount you can give America, right? Well, how do you give America the least? The scraps, your leftovers, your I am full, right? I have filled myself. And now what's left? These structures in the system that was built not only on my back, but on my back with the intention of harming me and constantly taking from me. How do I stop giving to it? So that's our conversation today. We're talking about it. We're talking about it. Hey to everyone in the comments. I see y'all. I see some of the members in my YouTube membership. We are meeting today after the live stream on Zoom to get together and talk and catch up like we always do. So from the membership, I see Sarah and Shan and Yolanda, Glass Half Full, Carmen. I ain't seen your face in a while, Carmen. Anybody else here that I see right now? Comfort, Ra. Good morning to everybody else. Anita, Alicia Bernice, Pilar, Shantae, April, Celeste, CK, Kemi, I saw Stephanie, JG. You're working on your new YouTube channel? Okay, JG. Love it. Lenora, thank you for the compliment. New hair. Libria, our good friends. Love you, mean it. Tanya. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Mom. Saida. Okay, let's talk divesting. I want the box for this conversation for me. You know, I love a boundary. Or at least the starting point is that whatever country you live in, even if it's not America, whatever country you live in, if that's the place you were raised, if that's the place you grew up, there are structures there's a 3D spider web already. You are living in a 3D spider web. That sounds really like red pill, blue pill. And that's not what I meant. But you are living in a 3D spider web that is super hard to get out of. And so when I talk about divesting today, I want to talk about us doing the best we can within the systems we live in. I think, in my perspective, and I know someone's going to agree with me and say they do things perfectly, but in my perspective, it is almost impossible to live like a perfectly woke life, right? Like, and I think y'all know what I mean by that. Right? It's hard to do everything right. It's really hard to live a life where you are not hurting the environment and you are not hurting other people and you are always making the right choice with your money and everything you do is like for the good of all, which I think most people would say is like those are 4 things you probably care about, right? But they're probably 4 things that you don't do perfectly. I don't do any one of those things perfectly, right? I don't, and I'm sure there are others that I'm not thinking about right now. I don't do any of those things perfectly, but I'm trying to be more cognizant about the way what I do impacts those things and all the other list of things, right? Like whatever things that I do that are bad for the environment. I paused because I had a little flashback moment. This is all over the place, but if y'all know me, y'all know. Stick with me. We're going somewhere. Anyway, I was in Spanish class, and about 2 weeks ago, our Spanish teacher asked us what we think the world would be like in 100 years. And it was me and that day, maybe 3 men. And they were all like, flying cars and live on moon and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, baby, we're not going to have a planet in 100 years. Like, I don't know where they're coming from. But she asked, like, everyone was like, and we're going to have space rockets that take us to places. And I was like, what is a place? Because it's not Earth, right? Like, but like, to be the only person who was like, 100 years, our planet shall be dust by then, was really an interesting place because I feel like when I have conversations with Black women, it's very much the like, yes, the planet is in danger. And yes, the powers that be aren't doing what they need to do to fix it or to make any of our lives livable. But all these guys in class were like, rockets to the moon. From where? Where do you live? Is it a bubble? Because like what is y'all are creating so many problems and you don't see them? Anyway, so this also isn't a lecture to Black women about what we need to be doing differently, in the sense that, like, you're doing something wrong because you're probably doing more right things than most people on this planet. Right? Like, people in the global south probably got us beat. Our web is hard to get out of, right? But you're doing good, sweetie, right? But we're gonna talk about we gonna listen, Stephanie said men don't do the cleanup work. They're clueless about state of things, right? Like, who does the cleanup work? Us, right? What did our good sis Nikki Giovanni say? If we gonna meet some aliens, it should be Black women who are meeting them, because we get along with everybody, because we care, we have that empathy for everybody. Okay. Adelia says your actions and values need to be in alignment. Yes. So we're going to talk about getting your values, knowing where your values are and getting your actions in alignment. This also isn't a conversation about what I want you to believe. This is a conversation about accepting what's important to you, identifying what's important to you, and getting your actions in alignment. So let's go. Okay. So Zane, this is not a necklace. Well, it's like I guess it is a necklace. It's from, hold on, y'all. Let me see if I'm gonna find a link in a second. I will come back to the link in a minute, because it's from a Exodus Summit community member gave this to me, and she has a shop online. I don't know if this is from her shop or she sourced it elsewhere, but I love it. You know, I love a little extra. Okay, I'm gonna try to find that, but I'm gonna keep going and talk. Okay, so she's from Ghana, but her store isn't Ghana connection. Let me see. My brain is fried. Give me a second. Boop, 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 boop. While we're doing that, let's talk about figuring out what's important to you, right? So, like, what are the ways that you feed the machine, right? That's what I'm gonna call it today. What are the ways that you feed the machine, and how can you stop doing that or do it less, right? So one of my ways, sorry, I'm really trying to do two things at once. One of the ways that I'm trying to do that is to shop less, right? Shop less and be more cognizant of where I'm getting things. All right, so this is Rita. This is Rita's shop. Necklace is from Rita, who owns this shop, and she brings in things from Ghana. Okay, let's go. All right, so what are the ways that your money goes to making rich people richer? And who are the rich people you don't want to make richer? Amazon's on top of my list. I'm trying to figure out in 2025, how do I stop using them completely? Oh, thank you, Stephanie. She knew who I was talking about, but no, I got it. Took me a while, but I got it. Oh yeah, Stephanie. Actually, I didn't drop her IG. If you can drop Rita's IG as well, that'd be great. I dropped her website. Rita is who this is from. Okay, so what are the ways that you are making rich people richer? Now, I say that, pause. It is very hard to live a life in a capitalist society where you're not making rich people richer every day. That's how I used to describe my job. And I think that for most of us, the work we do. I think I'm gonna say like 95% of people in America, at the end of the day, when all the balls roll into the holes, 95% of America, your job is making rich people richer. That's it. That's it. Right. And so if that's what we do at work, right? And those are our commercial options in the world, the most easily available ones are making rich people richer. How do you get out of that system? And I don't know that you completely can, right? Like I've made the decision to no longer shop at Amazon. But then I was like, I own a whole bunch of different mutual funds. And in 2024, it's really hard to own a mutual fund that's not invested in Amazon or some other toxic healthcare company, prison, right? Like it's really hard not to do that, right? And so, how do we completely get out? I don't know. I don't have the answers to that. But one of the things I'm focused on, so the first thing we're going to talk about today is the thing I'm focused on, which is making sure that when I spend my money, it's not going to make exorbitantly wealthy people wealthier, right? Because those people are giving money to that man who's about to destroy the country for 4 years. Now, why would you, if you value your customers, why are you giving money to a man who you know is going to destroy the country because you value your money more than you value your customers? I got to stop giving you money. I got to stop, right? Because what do you mean? What do you mean if I buy 17 tchotchkes for my Stanley Cup? If I buy 17 tchotchkes for my Stanley Cup, 3 pennies are going to Trump? I don't understand. Maybe only one of my pennies, but still, what is that? Why? That's not what I want. So I have to decide, do I really need 17 tchotchkes for my Stanley Cup? I don't, right? And that's part of what we're talking about today, deciding those things that are important for you, those things that are not important for you. I don't need that, right? Because we've gone a little far in the overconsumption. Um, and if you do need those 17 tchotchkes, where can you get them? Where can you source them that is not the bad place, right? And we're all going to define the bad place differently, and that's okay, right? I know there's one of you right now that's like, I will never give up Amazon. That man could come punch me in the face. I'm still gonna shop at Amazon. And I'm not judging you for that, right? Right? I It is what it is. You have to decide what is important to you, what you want to continue to support, and the things you don't want to support. Right? JM says has a really great point. Thank you for being here. And I hope you saw that we answered your question last week on the coaching session. JM, no new tech either. All refurbishment only is needed. Used to buy a new iPhone every year. I was on like an every 3-year cycle with iPhones. I'm gonna see how long I can hold out. Right? Now my Apple Care just expired, so my phone's probably, honest. They get that alarm like, no insurance. Take the phone to hell. Straight to hell. Lady says, I literally tell people I make rich people richer. I worked for BMW. And then I worked for Uber. I make rich people richer. It's just like that's what I did. That's what I did. Um, and so this is, like I said, it's not to say that like I haven't been there. This is not me coming from a place of like holier than thou. This is me saying that like it's really hard to do things that are not like feeding the capitalist monster. Anne says, "Don't you have money invested in the USA?" Yes, yes, I do. Right. And part of a conversation, I don't know if you just joined us, Anne, part of the conversation was that I'm not exactly happy where my money's invested. But if you have investments, you got to know how challenging it is to move things. And challenging doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Challenging just means like the reason all the mutual funds I'm in, almost all of them are invested in Amazon, is because Amazon makes a lot of money. And so if I divest from those funds that have their money in Amazon, I'm going to be making less money. Like, am I willing to divest in a way that hurts me? Oh, ooh, ooh. I haven't figured that part out yet, right? And so, to Anne's point, don't you have your money invested in the USA? Yes. But divesting is going to mean different things for different people. There are going to be people who are like, I'm taking all of my money out of America. And there are people who are like, if our money is making me money in America, I'm going to take out, but I'm not going to put in. You get to decide what's right for you, right? This is not a judgment session, which also means you don't judge me. Okay, we're friends here. Congratulations, Roz. I saw that you moved to Merida on your 50th birthday. Oh my goodness, last Sunday. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. And so I want all of us to think about what the things to do. I have an actual list. We haven't gotten to the list yet. My eyes and nose are watering as soon as I sat down. I don't know why. Turn off this light. Mm. Ugh. My eyes and nose start to water at like the very, very beginning of being sick. So hopefully it's not that. Where's my list? Nothing's working right today, y'all. At least my eyes and my nose aren't. Okay. What's happening? I have a list. And it's nowhere. It's on my computer and my phone. Anyhow, figuring out what the things you need to do are is going to be important for you. So let me find my list of good things. Um, okay. iCloud has decided that it's not going to share things from one thing to the next today, right now. I'm about to get a, oh, no, here we go. Here we go. Okay. So we're focusing on, if you're staying in America, the things that you can do while you're at home, right? What are the things that you can, what are the things that weigh you down, right? And whether that is physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, what are the things that you're like, these things don't feel right? These things aren't in alignment with my values. How do you get rid of them? Right? For me, that's to stop feeding the machine. And the biggest part of the machine for me is Amazon. But like I say that, right? And I'm like, I want to stop giving my money to American corporations. And then I'm like, canceling Netflix. Huh. Huh. Right? Like I said, it's you get to make your choices about what works for you and where you feel good about putting your money. Because I watch a lot of TV. Canceling Netflix? But like I pay them money every month. Apple Care is a way that I pay Apple money every month. There are people I pay every month that if I had a choice, I wouldn't pay them, but I have a choice because I have free will. So what are we doing? What are we doing? Right? I don't understand. Um, K Tala 1135, I hope I pronounced that right, said, we're still living in the States. I'm trying to be better about knowing where my money goes when I shop and knowing their political affiliations. Goods Unite US app has been a great tool. I'm not familiar with that app, so thank you for sharing. I think that a lot of us struggle with, as Ty said, trying to sustain ourselves out of the system, right? And so for me, looking into the future, if I want to, part of my goal, y'all know I'm a maximalist. There's no surprise there. But part of my goal for 2025 is to buy less things, right? And buying less things, um, there's buying less things completely as like one level, right? Um, the second level is like if I need to buy something, can I buy it from a small brand, right? Instead of a mega corporation? Can I buy it from a small creator? And the third level for me is, can I get it used? This is something that I haven't really paid much attention to. I think it's hard. I'm going to say it's hard, but this could also be an excuse. It's hard in Mexico because used goods, there's no Poshmark, right? There's the man on the street with clothes laying on a tarp or in a market. But because I know that when my things got stolen, long story, we're not going to go into that right now, but I had a couple suitcases of things that got stolen. I know they ended up on a tarp somewhere. I know they did. I know they ended up on a tarp somewhere or in a mercado somewhere when my things got stolen. I also don't feel really good about that process either, right? So it's like figuring out how to weave your way through systems that don't feel good on the right and don't feel good on the left. Anywho, figuring out how you can do like feed the machine less. That's how I said I'm going to describe it. And one of the reasons I want to do that is I've been paying more attention to the downstream impacts of my purchases, right? Which is not just it's not just where the money goes, right? It's when I want to get rid of something, where does it go? Right? If you watched the video that I did with Adelia when I was getting rid of my storage unit, or like right after that, one of our biggest challenges when we were getting rid of the stuff that I owned and loved is that if I'm not taking it with me, where can it go that it will be loved or cared for or not ending up in a landfill? And for a lot of stuff, it was like there's no other place that we can find in this 2-week process of clearing out my storage, which is why I say don't wait till the last minute. A lot of your things are going to end up in a landfill. A lot of things I actually liked ended up in a landfill, right? Because you're not going to find someone to take everything. And that doesn't feel good to me, right? That like there are things that I liked or like, and now they're in a landfill taking up space. I couldn't find anywhere to take them. We tried really hard. Really, really. If you haven't done this before, you may think it's easy. It is not easy to get rid of all of your stuff. Those things end up in a landfill. If it's not the landfill is one aspect of like the downstream implications of what you buy, but there's also the like, who made it, and where did the materials come from, right? And what were the circumstances and conditions of the people who had to go get the materials or make the materials? And then who put the materials together? And what are their circumstances? Like what are the ways that the system, capitalist system that I'm in, hides the global impacts of the things I buy, right? Because we wouldn't buy the phones if we had to buy it from a child who lost their hand getting whatever thing they're mining, and we had to exchange money with the child with the one hand. We probably wouldn't buy a phone. But they do a great job of hiding that from us so you don't see it. And now what? Now what? Right? It's crazy. So those are the things I'm considering, right? Like, how can I not buy at all? If I'm going to buy, how can I buy small? If I'm can't buy small, can I buy used? And those two, used and new from a small creator, might be interchangeable. And I think buying, here's where capitalism gets me to, right? Buying from I'm not even gonna say it gets me. I'm gonna say it's a struggle. The struggle is like, even when you think you're buying from a small creator, it could just be a drop shipping company, right? And the things are being mass marketed in China somewhere. And that's not to talk bad about drop shippers or about that kind of sales funnel. That's about the way that sites like Etsy that were about buying things from creators are now like, you can't find creators on the site anymore. It's literally just goods mass manufactured and sold to you, right? Those are the struggles, right? Like when you're looking to shop small, how do you know it's really small? I don't have the answer for that, right? Does anyone here know how to make sure someone's a small creator? Let me know. Let me know, because I don't know. It's a struggle. Shop small. Ooh, what? So the steps I'm taking are like, if I would normally go to Amazon to buy something, I'm like, who makes that? Like the other day, I was going to buy a new charging block because the one I regularly use is broken. Do I have more? Yes, I have one from like 5 years ago that weighs 6 pounds, but it still works. Okay. Anyhow, I was gonna buy them. I went to Amazon. Actually, I saw a thing I didn't know I needed. And then I got influenced online. We're gonna talk about influencing too. Hold up a second. I saw something I didn't know I needed online, and I saw it, and it was something I knew I needed. I just didn't know it existed in that form, right? I knew I needed it. I knew I needed the solution. I didn't know the solution existed in that form. And then I saw one of those, you scroll through Facebook, half my things are like, look at this reel of like this Amazon find, hot Amazon finds, Amazon finds, Amazon finds. So sometimes I'm like, let me just see what it is. So I saw what it was. And I was like, it's a company that I bought their products before from Amazon. I was like, if I just go directly to their site, I could just buy it from them and skip Amazon. And I was like, why wouldn't I be doing this for everything? Just go directly to the manufacturer and skip the Amazon. And it was like, I don't know about you guys, but it was like an epiphany for me. Like some of y'all have beaten me to this epiphany, but I was like, I've spent so long just going directly to Amazon.com. And I saw someone saying earlier that the one-day shipping has them in a chokehold. I'm not one-day shipping anymore because I'm not paying for Prime. But I want it, it's on the site, and I can get 3 other things that I didn't know I wanted at the same time shipped in this, I would say in the same box, but now it's like 17 different boxes for 5 things in your order. But, that's the kind of thing where I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I could just go directly." Uh, Also, I don't think today's the day, but one day we're gonna talk about the harm that one day shipping and shipping all of those, like, things in all of those different packages does to the planet that we don't actually need to do. But I don't think today's the day. Um, so, Deborah, I like all my order history in one place and I make money as an Amazon affiliate. I also worked at Amazon as a side hustle a few years back. I get it. I get it. Um, and so there's no shade here. But he giving your money to Trump. And I can't abide that. Right? He was always a terrible person in my book. But like now we're just out and proud and being terrible all around, right? So yes, the order history in one place is great. I love being like, when did I buy that? Instead of having to search email for a receipt, Amazon is like, you bought that on June 6th. This is the exact model you bought. Do you want another one? And the answer a lot of times is yes, but right? Are there other ways to do the same thing? Yes. And I know that this is a lot of times it's easiest to do the easiest thing. And that is the easiest thing. What I'm talking about are doing some things that are a little bit harder and and align my actions with my values. Speaking about affiliates, I am moving away from Amazon affiliates completely, right? I made a little bit of change there, you know, $20 to $50 a month. But like, is that worth me recommending that you shop at something that doesn't align with my values? No. So I'm going to be closing down all my Amazon stuff just because it didn't feel right. I'm also, I don't know if you're aware of the platform Like to Know, but it's like a platform where you can like show the things you're using and use links to help let people know where to buy it. And you get some money and whatever. And I was on there and I haven't been on there in a while. My account's still active as far as I know. But I feel like we're getting over influenced, right? Like, and it's not like it's leading to overconsumption, but isn't just about Amazon. It's about like I said, who makes this stuff and where does it end up, right? And so I've been thinking for the past few months, I probably like 2 months, thinking about how I can use that account and still like use it for good. And I'm not sure I can, right? And so I haven't been over there. I just don't know that I can, right? So I'm there was a point where I was like, I want to be an influencer. I don't know if I like, because like Deborah said, um, like the Amazon affiliate money kind of rolls in without you doing anything. It's not necessarily like I want to be an influencer, but I'd like to make affiliate money without doing a lot of work. But it's really hard to do that without promoting consumption. And which is why like a lot of the accounts that I started following a lot of like plant accounts lately. I wasn't before, but yeah, I got a ton of plants. And I was like, I should get more knowledge and maybe like these people are a good way to do it. But almost every single like plant account, every other post is look at this Amazon find, look at this Amazon find, look at this Amazon find. And it truly is almost impossible to get out of. Like that web, right? Like I want to learn about plants. And you're talking about this planter from Amazon. And I get it because I'm not hating on you making money. I just don't want to be a part of it. Right? I just don't want to be a part of it. Let's see. Amber says, I noticed I started feeling better when I don't shop. Started decades ago when I said no to Christmas gifting. Yes. Yes. Katala 1135 says it didn't help, but COVID pandemic made us dependent on delivery services like Amazon. It seemed easier than going to brick and mortar stores. Got to change the mindset. Yeah. Their employees are unhappy, right? Like the people who are selling their products on the platform don't seem happy with the system, especially the booksellers. The people who are making the products upstream aren't happy. The places where the products are being dumped aren't happy. The only person happy is Jeff on his yacht, hoping the orcas don't target him next. But they see when you're sleeping. They know when you're awake. The orcas know when you've been bad or good. Okay, so, but like shopping is part of it, right? Like where we spend our money is really, really important. Where you can spend your money, where you can feel good about spending your money, feel good. And a lot of you are saying you don't buy anything. Oh, JM points out, oh, nope, sorry that. Do you know? A little foolishness on a Sunday morning. JM says they keep building warehouses in neighborhoods where Black and brown people are displaced. Yes. And then they give Black and brown people jobs in the warehouse, but no air conditioning. So if you die, you die. So back to my list. Okay. Another thing okay, if you're watching this, hey y'all, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down. If you're like, what is she talking about? I don't like her. I don't like her face. So that you don't have to see it again because, YouTube is going to be like, no, thank you. Also here, I'm here on YouTube talking about divesting, right? Like, let's be real. It's really hard to get out of the systems. YouTube is owned by Google. Google owns all our information. Between Google and Amazon, they own all of our information. So, right, like we can only do so much. And Adelia says, the problem is that we often think in binary all or nothing. If I can't perfectly divest from capitalism, it isn't worth doing. Any effort to be intentional and conscious is worth it. Yes, that's what we're talking about. But we're also going to talk about divesting. So the capitalism part was the early part, right? Like pick the things that you're going to say no to, right? This year. And I encourage you, right? We talked about not buying from a small creator or buying used as like the ways to add things if you need to add things, right? I would also say in the same vein, pick a company or two that you think does not align with who you want to be and divest from that company, right? Pick a company and say, I won't be giving them any more of my money. They're probably going to end up with my money one way or another, right? Like, it's really hard not to give any of your money to these people. But pick a company or two, right? And say, like, in 2025, 2024, going into 2025, I'm not spending my money with these people. Jeff not getting my money, right? I like you guys mentioned Whole Foods. I forget I love a Whole Foods. I hate Amazon and love Whole Foods, right? And so the challenge for me when I go back to America in January, briefly, pre-inauguration, is going to be when I'm in Florida. The only place I know to get Jenny's ice cream, which is my favorite ice cream, that lemon and blueberry yogurt and the darkest chocolate together, a scoop of each together, has been a balm for my soul since 2006. The only place I know to get it in Florida is Whole Foods. How do I reconcile not giving Jeff any of my money and not being able to give Jenny from Jenny's ice cream any of my money? How? It's a problem. Is it going to kill me if I don't get to eat my favorite ice cream? No. But why is Jeff holding me hostage? Why he got his hands in everything? Why? Why he got his hands in everything? Yeah, Shantae said cherries and goat cheese. She knows the deal. That Jenny's, baby. There was one a couple blocks from my house when I lived in Ohio. Woo! Jenny Brittenbauer, I love you, girl. I love you. Okay. Yeah, I want my ice cream without Jeff Bezos getting another yacht. And I don't know how to do that. So the point is pick a store, pick a person, right? Like, how many Waltons need to be the richest people in America? Like, on the top 20, top 50 list, how many Waltons are there? How many? Danielle, exactly it. For her, it's Walmart. And it's hard. In Mexico, it's hard. The closest grocery store to me was I can't remember what it was called before, but then Walmart bought it. And now it's a Walmart, the closest grocery store. I pass it every time I leave my house. I pass this Walmart. It's just a grocery store. Every time I go there, a Walton gets its wings. In America, I do not go to Walmart. In Mexico, here I go. Right? Because so many, and part of that is globalization. The other part of that is even if globalization wasn't a factor, all of these large companies get some money and buy up smaller companies, right? Amazon did so much work to put competitors out of business, right? Put competitors out of business. Put small businesses small bookstores out of business. The mom and pop shop at the store on the corner out of business. On purpose. You're a bad, bad person. The orcas know. Kay Stewart said, if Jeff can be chilling in his boat, why can't you enjoy your ice cream? Don't overthink it, YOLO. And that is a choice. That is a choice you can make, right? But if I know, and I do know, that when I go buy my ice cream at Whole Foods, he gets a drop more gas for his yacht, how do I feel good about that? Right? I can't reconcile it all. Like I said, I can make a step in the right direction. I can choose which steps I'm going to make. I'm suggesting that you choose which steps you're going to make. Someone's going to tell you you're doing it wrong. That's not me. Not today, right? Someone's going to say, well, you still shop at Target, so go to hell. That's right. Like oh, it's very hard to get yourself out of this 3D web. But no. Zay says you can learn to make it. Baby, I bought an ice cream maker. I had 2 Jenny's ice cream cookbooks. I can't make it the way she can. I'm so sorry. I tried for years. I can't make it the way she can. I didn't need a dupe recipe. I had her recipe in 2 signed books, which are now in someone else's hands because I had to leave them. I didn't bring my Jenny's recipe books today. I did not. Jenny ships from their site within the US. Yes, but shipping ice cream to a hotel is disaster waiting to happen. I don't need y'all got to believe me when I say I tried for years to duplicate that ice cream. No. Mm-mm. Right? So I think I'm not gonna have ice cream. I'll survive. I'll survive. Things will be fine. Okay. When you're in the US, we're gonna leave. We're going to leave. I'm gonna say we're gonna leave capitalism, but you can never leave capitalism. Just playing. I want to talk about what we consume that's also not. I'm talking about the news. Let's just get right there. I'm talking about the news, right? Back in like 2016, I had to stop watching cable news around the election. It was earlier in the year 2016. I had to stop watching cable news because I was like, this is so toxic. Every day there's something crazy. And not watching the news has been so amazing for me, right? Not watching American news. Not watching American news has been so good for my spirit. It is so depressing to watch the news every day. Okay, wait. I said we were gonna leave capitalism for a second, but Amber's comment right here. Just go. Oh. When my students ask me why slavery worked, I tell them it was because people wanted cheap stuff and didn't care how. Same dynamic. Now, I have to care. A word, Amber. A word. Whew. And then Nichelle was actually going where I was going. Try to find non-cable news sources, right? Try for news sources outside of the US. Try online sources that are not behind paywalls. Say no to the Washington Post, because that's also putting money in Jeff's evil pocket that he's giving to Trump. What are the ways that you can stop supporting a news system that doesn't care about you? Because they were all smiling in that man's face during the election coverage. And then once he was elected, you see all them sites being like, oh no, is this going to be a problem for the American public? You weren't saying that when he was up for re-election. But now you're like, oh. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Right? Like where can you find news sources that you trust? And that's going to be a different thing for all of us, right? Wanda says for world news Democracy Now! Is a trusted source. Keisha says same thing. Oh, wait, that's not what I wanted. That was not what I was going for. Keisha said independent news on YouTube like Democracy Now! And Midas Touch. Yeah, I think finding news sources that feel good for you um, is the way to go. Is the way to go, because American news for the past 20 years has been telling a story, not telling the truth, right? They are telling a story that they want to sell, right? And most of the story historically has been Black people are bad, can't trust them. So it's okay if the police shoot them, right? It's okay because they're bad people who can't be trusted, right? And all the things about Black women, which I don't even feel like getting into right now. So find a non-American news source. If you're living in America, find a non-American news source and try watching it or reading it, because I think it's one of the first things you have to do to really get out of the American mindset, to see what's going on in other places and to see how other places talk about America. I feel good about Al Jazeera, but I'm not always tuned in, if that makes sense. All right. If you're going to leave America, think about what things you want to leave behind from your life and what things you want to take with you. Backing up for a second, I saw someone say, who was it? One of you friends said that Tribe 213 says, I narrate audiobooks for Audible. I freaking work for the guy. Yes. And I said it before, there's no judgment here. It's almost impossible in America to work in a role for a company where if you follow everything up to the very top, there's a good person. It's almost, and that's because of the very nature of capitalism. We talked about them consolidating all these companies or putting other companies out of business. And that's not something you do when you're a good guy. It's just not, right? But it's something you do that helps you maintain power, get and maintain power. It's something you do that helps you get and maintain money. So the top is getting narrower, not just that fewer people are at this very, very wealthy pinnacle, but because few people are at the top of the capitalist triangle, you probably work for a terrible person when all is said and done. You probably work for a monster. If you keep following the chain uphill, I mean, there's probably a monster in your office right now. But if you keep going up to the very top, when I worked at Uber, I did good things. I went out of my way to do, my very first car buying experience was terrible. And I wished it was different. And so when I started working in auto finance, I did everything I could to make the experience better for other people. But I work in auto finance. We're like, someone's car is getting repoed, right? Like someone's paying too much for their interest rate, because I wasn't there when that contract was written. I don't know what numbers you agreed to, right? Like it's not a It's not an industry where like no one gets harmed. I can do my best, but it's not a place where no one gets harmed. When I worked at Uber, right? I'm doing my best. Are the drivers getting a fair deal from this relationship? I have no contact with the drivers. Right? Like is everything this company does in alignment with my values? No. Do I still need a check? Yes. And that's why for me, like if you can not work at a toxic company, great. If you can't, if that's where your check comes from, get a check, right? Get a check. And honestly, like get a check and do the good work you can within the organization. Teresa says she worked in auto finance at Capital One. I know how you feel it. Whatever I could, I would give away a car. So that one person was really happy. But are there thousands of unhappy people? Yes, because that's how auto finance works. And there's nothing I can do about that. Right? Like there has to be like, do what you can. We all up ladder work for most of us. I'm not gonna say all of us. Some of you don't. A lot of us work for or have worked for terrible people. But that's what that is, right? Okay, so we're divesting. We're gonna decide as a community. The 300 plus of us watching right now are going to decide. You're going to pick a place where you're not spending your money, right? Don't pick a place and don't spend any more money there, right? If you feel like you can't divest from US news, add on another source outside of US, at least outside of the mainstream US sources. If you got to watch CNN, and CNN used to be a place where I'm like, they're not lying to me. And now I'm like, they are lying in my face every day. Michelle brings up a great point, which I said in the beginning, but I think it's really great to restate. If you live in America, it's impossible to be 100% with this. It is. All of our struggles with it are different since we have different resources. All we can do is the best we can, and most of us are. I think most of us want to, Michelle. I don't know that most of us are doing the best we can. I think we want to, or we're doing the best that is easy, but we're not necessarily doing the best that we could do that would be a little bit harder. And so I think that's the challenge of today's video. What is a thing that might be challenging for you, but would align your values more, your actions more with your values? Right? I'm not doing the best I can. I'm doing the easiest I can with some good choices thrown in. I know I can do better, and so I'm trying to. And I want some of you guys to come with me on our mission to do better. I mentioned earlier that like what we can do for like the environment. How like the environment is one of the things that I care about. And the travel is not good for the environment. Getting on a plane is not good for the environment. This week I was like, this was a thought in my head, but in my head I knew it was a joke. So don't run with this. I said, I don't believe in private planes. Like I know they exist, but I think they're a very bad idea. are a terrible idea because of what they do for the environment. But this week, when I was trying to plan out some travel, I was like, I could use a private plane. I could really use a private plane. Terrible, terrible idea, right? They are terrible for the environment. But so are regular planes and yachts and cars, right? Travel from almost every form of travel is terrible for the environment. And I travel a lot. So while I'm doing that, I know that like these are not choices that are these are not the best choices I can make. This is not the best I could do. The best I could do would be to not leave the city anymore and travel only by public transportation would be the best thing I could do for this environment. But I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. Right? Which is why I say we're not all doing the best we can. I know that there are options that are better for me and better for the universe, and I still do the bad thing. And that's why I said you got to make your choices. You got to make your choices about what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. I'm not willing to stop traveling to places, but I am trying to be more aware of my carbon footprint. Now, this is a challenge also because I'm thinking of like, how can I travel less to help the environment while CEOs are commuting by private plane to go to work every couple of days? How does that make like so what I'm doing, right? Exxon is still destroying the planet wherever they can. So the small things I'm doing have no global impact. But, right? If I can do a small thing and it aligns, I will feel better. And I know that I will have done what I could do, right? I can't stop that man from commuting to work on a on a jet because he can't be bothered to move and he can't work remotely. But I can do what I can do, right? And so that's the challenge. I'm not doing the best I can. I could do better. Uh, but I have to find balance, like Atala said. Yes. Um, all right. So thinking about like we're aligning. Someone's been watching this for a while, and we're like, what does that do with divesting in America? America functions. It does not work if you can see the upstream and downstream impacts of the choices you make living in America, America will not function. If you have to face the consequences of what you're doing and how what you're doing impacts other people, America doesn't work, right? It just doesn't work because you will see a lot of bad if you have to face it, right? A lot of slave labor around the world, a lot of people losing their lives so that we can live in comfort. What, like, I'm not saying that if you if you contribute to those systems, you're a bad person. I'm saying that it's almost impossible not to contribute to those systems if you're not intentional about it. So we're being intentional today. We're thinking about it. Okay, in the comments. In the comments. We're here now. Let me know in the comments what you're going to do, where you're not shopping in 2024 and 2025. One or two places where you are not shopping in 2024 and 2025. I've cut out fast fashion. Completely. Tracy says Target. I'm not there yet. Walmart and Amazon, I'm good. Target, I'm not. Oh, not even buying things at Target, but just walking through Target is like, mm, mm, right? But why? Because it's nothing but commerce. Why does walking through a chapel, walking through a place designated for commerce, why does that soothe me? Because I've been trained for 45 years that buying things is good. All right. Are y'all going to stick to this? Are y'all writing it down so you don't forget? Okay. So I see Hobby Lobby. I ain't even walked that foot in a Hobby Lobby now. I've been in a Michael's, but not in a Hobby Lobby in like 15 years. Walmart, yes. Starbucks ain't getting no money from me. Not at all. Oh, I don't want you to cry. America is bad for the rest of the world. America is terrible for the rest of the world. Absolutely. Absolutely. And some people in the rest of the world know that. And you have to deal with that when you go to other places. All right, we're not buying Teslas. We're not doing it. Well, some of us aren't. Some of y'all are, and that's okay too. Whole Foods and Walmart. Yes, no more Whole Foods. Walmart, Meyer, and Albertsons companies. What does Walmart own Meyer and Albertsons? What's up with Meyer and Albertsons? I don't know the deal. Come on, ZS, tell us. Meyer and Albertsons. Yes, I'm trying to live a life in 2024, 2025, where I buy food, maybe vitamins, water, maybe some plants from local producers, and see if I actually need to buy anything else. And if I do, can I get it used? Can I get it from a small creator? Yeah, Chick-fil-A. I haven't eaten a Taco Bell. Well, I live in Mexico. Yeah, I haven't eaten Taco Bell in a long time. Sephora. I'm guilty of Sephora. I'm trying to switch to Ulta. This is my process. I'm in the process of switching from Sephora to Ulta. But it is one of those things where like, oh, I need this. Ooh, and I type in Sephora real quick. And they got all my orders. They got this. They got the points. I've got all my points at Sephora. So it's so easy just to boop, boop, boop. Oh, sorry. Target's invested more into the Democratic Party than Walmart. And Charles, that's a point. But since the Democratic Party turned their back on most Americans a long time ago, too, I just, like, I get it, but the Democratic Party is not a selling point for me on anything. Because Biden, what are you doing? Do you know you have 30 minutes? Do you know? What are you doing? Why? Set fire to the rain. Like, it's time. What are you doing? I know you're napping. I know that man is napping now. He's trying to see what he can get for himself real quick before he leaves. But what are you doing for us? Okay, Zia said Meyer donated to the 45 campaign. Okay, Nubia says that with the proposed tariffs, it'll be easier to not purchase anything. Yes, girl. Mm-mm. So yes. So okay. So you've told us about where you're not shopping. I love this for us, all of us collectively. I love it. Now, what news sources are you going to watch? Are you adding, right? And which ones are you taking away? What's a news source you're not even watching anymore? If you never watched it, you can add that too. We don't have to put Fox News in my comments. What's just, you don't have to talk about any news you're not watching anymore. Just tell us what news sources you are going to watch. That man is clocked out. Out. You got a month. Make some shit shake. No, no, no. Okay, no, great. Public radio. Okay. What else are we? Private owned, like Midas Touch. So I am not disagreeing with you. I just think it's hard because you always have to be alert. Like 10 years ago, I would have told you that CNN was a trusted news source. And now I'm like, it's shenanigans and bananas. And that's all it is. Fox News has monkey slinging poop. And CNN is like, well, if it works over there, let's see what we can get out of this. Right? Like what? And so I think there's like you have to constantly like reevaluate your news sources. But tell us all, what are you watching? Ground news, watching movies, not TV news? That's me right now. Mm-mm. Channel says it's time to fact check. Yes. Child, because with this AI, now they're making AI news stories with videos and oh sorry. Uh AI news anchors. I'm exhausted already. And the media literacy of our children. Actually, I'm not sure if I'm more worried about like the elders, and I'm including myself, or the children. Like the children are growing up with this, so they know it's going to be around. But like those of us who did not grow up with fake news, right? You grew up, there were three news options, and it was like ABC, CBS, NBC. Those were our options back in the day in America. And now we have so many, and so many of them are bad, and so many of them, and with the rise of easily faked news, I'm a little worried. Mm, All right. So we have some ideas of things we can watch or listen to uh, that will help us get out of the American news cycle. I think it's really important to get out of the American news cycle if you don't want to worship the ground the ground America sheds blood on, which actually is the whole world, but whatever. Like you actually have to get other news sources. Okay. Uh, I hit this briefly, but then I left it because we went somewhere else. Decide the things you can live with and what you can't live without, right? There's probably a lot more that you can live without than you think, but you actually have to like make that decision. Right? If you're moving abroad, if you want to leave America behind, what are the American things that you're going to leave behind? Right? Some of those American things are going to be American people. Don't throw anything at me. I'm so sorry. Y'all know I love telling you to break up with somebody. Now, that might be your partner, your parent, your child. Leave them. But truly, like, in order to live the life you want, you're going to have to foster relationships with people who support the life you want and back away from people who don't align with your values. And that's one of the things we don't talk about enough when you move about, like, in the move abroad conversations. All the people not gonna make it, and I mean all the people in your life right now, they're not gonna make it to the other side of your move. Not if you want your mental health to be good. If you want your mental health to be good, you have to leave some people behind, right? Um, and you have to think about the people that you want in your life and why it is you want them, and then work on fostering those relationships. Because when you move, it's even harder to have relationships with people in a different country, right? Between time differences and just not having the same day to day experiences that you used to have with people, it's really hard. So you got to do some of that. Um, and that comes down to, I think, an overarching part of this topic, which is deciding what you want your new life to look like, right? Where are the gaps? What are the things that you value? Because that's what we're focused on today. What are the things that you value? What are your values, right? How do you get your life to align with your values? Right? We all value different things, so I can't tell you that. But I think sitting down, looking around your home and saying, what if I had to leave all this stuff behind, what would I take with me? Right? If I had to leave all of this behind, which if you're moving, you're going to have to make choices like that, right? If I had to leave all this behind, what would I take with me? And that maybe if I had to leave all this behind and walk with me real quick. If I had to leave all this behind and take 10 suitcases, what would make the list? If I had to leave all this behind and take 5 suitcases, what would make the list? 3 suitcases. Take yourself down to 1 suitcase and then take yourself down to a backpack and figure out what of the things that you really in your life value and that are important to you, and whatever things that you're like, I like it, but like, I don't need it. Right. And if they didn't make the first 10 suitcases, maybe it doesn't need to be in your home right now. Right. I saw someone say, boop, 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 boop. Where is that? Are there things we should be now buying now, thinking about increased costs of possible World War III after inauguration? Um, I don't believe World War III is happening. Mostly because I feel like any World War III, I don't feel like World War III is happening. Let's just say that. I don't think there's going to be an uprising in America because any uprising that challenged the status quo January or after will be put down swiftly. Right? I just don't think so. Um, but if we talk about whatever things you should buy now, whatever things you need, you probably don't need anything. Right? And so it's an individual question. What if I don't need to buy anything before inauguration because the only thing I actually need is food? I want to buy my Estee Lauder serum because I'm out. And since I'm going to the US, I know I can buy it cheaper there than I can in Mexico. But do I need it? No, I don't need it. You might need some things. I don't know your life, Lawanda. We all get to live different lives. But I think that the more we can stop feeding the machine with thinking things are a need. I'm guilty. I am head of the line when it comes to this, right? Thinking things are a need when they're not, the more we can say, I would rather save my money, invest my money, do something for the community with my money. One of those things instead of putting that little drop of gas in some billionaire's yacht. And the more we can do that, the better we'll feel and the more we'll take back our own power. That's the issue, truly. Is the only truly in America as individuals, our vote isn't even powerful anymore. Because what's going our vote isn't powerful. I'm confusion. The only real power we have is where we spend our money, which is why I sound like a conspiracy theorist. That is not my intent. But that is why, right? There's been this narrowing of the places where you can spend your money. Your money goes to like one of 10, 20, maybe 100 people on this entire planet. It all flows. It's all the power we have, and all of it is going to other people, right? We work to make rich people richer. We spend to make rich people richer. And what do we get out of it? Right? We talk about taxes going for roads and to help people. Our taxes are going to buy bombs from bomb makers to ship to other people to kill poor people around the world. Our taxes are making bomb makers richer, weapons companies. That's not why I pay my taxes. That's not what I want from my tax dollars. Right? And so taking back the control, I can't control. I can vote. Listen, you and me both. I set my ballot in time and they were like, I don't know what you're talking about. Made its way to the election office and they were like, but did it? Okay. Well, I did what I could do. So yeah. What are the ways that you can take back power? What are the ways that you can align yourself more with your values? For me, I've seen a lot of Black women, calling themselves 92% and saying they're not going to do any more work for the country. It's almost impossible in the country. Leave the country. Leave the US behind, right? Leave the US behind. It's impossible to heal in the same environment that hurt you. And the US is just going to continue to hurt you. My ballot was like, trash can, trash can, trash can. Take a break, right? Like clock out of the ways that you overperform, that you overgive, that you provide, you cut off pieces of yourself to give to people who don't appreciate it. We do it every day. We do it every day. And you get to decide right? Like in America, you don't get a lot of choice on things. You don't get to decide. Tunisia is discussed about how her taxes are being used. Yes, when that man said it was time for reparations for white people because of how they've been unfairly treated by diversity, equity, and inclusion, I was like, that would be the day I like, listen, I would not be American anymore. Elgar had his passport back. What do I need to pay? And what do I do if what happens if I get another passport and I never pay all taxes again? Because what do you mean? What are these words you're saying? What is this craziness? I pay my taxes if IRS will send me to jail. Yes, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. So if you can't control where your tax money goes, what portion of your money can you control? And what are you doing with it? And I think that we need to think about what it looks like for us to stay in America and what it looks like for us to leave. There was a really hilarious comment the other day a guy made on my channel, a guy who's not blocked, because you sound crazy. Don't be in here talking crazy. Let me see if I can find it. I didn't even argue with him because you sound crazy. So what's there to argue about? Is this it? Okay. I want you to put on your listening ears, turn on your thinking brain as I say these words. This man wrote, Black America have to remember one thing. I'm sorry, there was no, I stopped for a period where there wasn't a period, my bad. America is our home, and it don't make sense for us to leave and stop fighting the battle where you are from originally. Listening ears, thinking brain. It's equivalent to being in a foxhole, and a person that is supposed to be watching your back is up and just dips out of cowardness and selfishness, but ready to come back to receive their Medal of Honor and pension. First of all, I'm not at war. And if being in America, if the best analogy you can give for being in America is being at war, I'm gonna stay my ass in Mexico. Thank you very much. Like what? A foxhole? A foxhole. Why would you are likening your life, just living in this country, to being in a foxhole at war? Oh, Kim said he pays on your page too. Girl, the way I blocked that man, like, nah. A foxhole. And then wait, because we're not done. This man had the knowledge, he had the goods. Ready to come back to receive their Medal of Honor and pension. Who is going to get a Medal of Honor when this war is over? Who? You, George or Greg or whatever, you think you'll get a Medal of Honor? What is the Medal of Honor you expect to get when you win? And what does winning look like? That don't sound crazy to you? That don't sound absolutely crazy to you? Insane? First of all, just living, you liken just living in America to being at war, and now you're curious about why you don't understand why people would leave. You don't understand why people would leave the war. People have been getting out of war since there were wars. Ask your new president and his bone spurs in his foot or whatever. Right? Like, people been getting out. People leave because of wars. They leave countries because they don't want to be in wars. That's a reason to go, not a reason to stay. And then this Medal of Honor you think you're going to get when you win the war? What? I said, oh, there's nothing to say. There's nothing to say to you because you're insane. You're insane. You are absolutely insane if you think that in our lifetime, when they've given reparations to they're talking about giving reparations to white people because they were hurt by diversity. And you think you gonna get a Medal of Honor? And the people who left you in your foxhole by yourself are gonna try to come back and get it too? Sir. These are the people you got to let go. I ain't argue with that man. I'm pretty sure I blocked him. I don't remember what happened. I screenshot the photo because I was like, I like keeping track of crazy when crazy shows up. Because what is this? You said you're at war and don't know why somebody else would leave? You feel abandoned by the people who are leaving you? Because it doesn't make sense for us to leave and stop fighting the battle where we're originally from? You're originally from? The United States of America isn't even originally from the land it's on. It don't go here, right? That's not that. Like, it's not, it don't even. If you got people encouraging you to stay and fight, but you feel like laying down and napping, lay down and nap. Lay down and nap. Right? You need to figure out how to live a life that makes you happy, regardless of what other people think. And when people are out here making analogies to just being Black in America is being at war, and you're supposed to stay in the foxhole and stay at war because in the future there will be a Medal of Honor. Know how crazy that sounds? Someone in the comments said, remind them how Black people who actually went to war, who went to World War I and World War II, were treated after the war. All them homes, none of them for you. All them loans, none of them for you. Money to go to school, you have to fight for that. Healthcare for our current soldiers. Are we going to talk about healthcare? I feel like we shouldn't even talk about healthcare today because it's just going to get ugly. Eddie, so brilliantly, has said planning and research needs to be done before moving to another nation. Yes, Eddie, I've been talking about that here for 5 years. You must be new. Okay, so if you want help planning and research, Exodus ASAP is available for Black women who want to move abroad and want help in community. You can find it at exodusasap.com. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. The link is in the description already. That is not the link. I just saying stuff. It is exodusasap.com, but I was looking for something else. If you want to be in community with Black women who are making their way out, who don't come here mansplaining things to you, George Exodus ASAP. We ain't got no men here telling you in the community telling you need to make a plan before you leave. Because obviously, what do you Because obviously a plan needs to be made. Yes, that's what we do here every Sunday. Shh, don't come here new talking about a man, Eddie, who I'm guessing lives in America, is going to come on the channel of a Black woman who lives in Mexico and has lived here successfully for 5 years. And a community of Black women who are either on their way abroad or living abroad right now, talking about a plan is needed before moving abroad. What you think we doing? Just getting on a plane and leaving? No thoughts? Just vibes? Listen first and then talk. Listen. We're listening before we talk. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Friends, saw Dara yesterday. She had a plan. She's in Mexico City now. Michelle's making her plan for Paris. Women in the chat making plans, spending years making plans, spending months making plans. We've been running Exodus Summit for 5 years. We have 5 years of women making plans and doing it successfully. Successful planning. So, if you want help making your plan, I'm coaching this week in the Exodus ASAP community. I am helping women pick their move abroad location. We're going to be in there. You're going to get, we're going to talk. It's going to be interactive. So if you need personal help with your place, like if you're stuck, now most of y'all, when you're stuck because you want to be everywhere. I know you. I know your type. You're stuck because you want to be everywhere, and you can't be everywhere at once, but you can be everywhere over a long period of time. So come to our coaching session Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I will be there helping you out with your plan. I'm going to have a talk. There's going to be the Q&A, and in the Q&A, I'll be able to help some of you individually figure out like how to narrow things down or fine tune what you're looking for to come up with your plan. Last week, Stephanie coached about figuring out a number, figuring out how to get to your cost of living number. And in that cost of living number, like even if your place changes, you can still use the same formula, the same facts to figure out your new cost of living in a new place. If things change in the place you want to go to from 1 year to the next, if you went to that coaching, you can still use that information to come up with a new cost of living number. The replay is available for that in the Exodus ASAP platform. If you haven't watched it yet and you're in the community, go watch it. If you want to watch it, you're not in the community, exodusasap.com. Let me make sure I put this on the screen because you know how I do. Where did that go? Where did I go? I know I dropped it. Here we go. Join us in community exodusasap.com. Last week, Adelia coached about how to invest in the stock market. And I think we may be doing that again. Not sure about that. And then next week on the 26th, we have the anti-HR lady, Anne Marie, is going to come and talk to us about, I think it's severance. If these employers are playing in your face, come. Show up. Figure out how to take from them because they've been taking for you for too long. Okay. Exodus ASAP. We're doing it. All right. And also, it's the community is so full of joy. That is a joyful community. Oh, yes. If you haven't pressed the like button, press the like button. If you came here to mansplain, press the dislike button so YouTube doesn't show you my videos again. Thanks. If you understand that that was said with love and you can come back without the mansplanations, you can stay. Give it a thumbs up. Turn on notifications so that you know when I'm going live next. You know, we're doing it. We're doing it. All right. Chris said she would love to learn about investing in stocks. Adelia's her girl, and that was included in the Exodus ASAP coaching this week. We also had women come in and talk about moving with their family. We have someone coming this week to talk about healthcare abroad, and we're gonna have a pets session soon. I'm moving with your pets session soon. So if you want to move with pets and you're a Black woman, we talk about that. I don't have a date for that, but we're gonna do that soon because that was highly requested. Okay. It's hard, right? Dante says, I'm very anti-capitalist, but I'll use it to benefit me and mine. That's the problem. And I know you see it, Dante, that like when your benefit, capitalism works by taking resources from others and siphoning them to a few. So taking resources from the masses and siphoning them to a few is the way capitalism works. And there's no way around that. Like, so you may be on one of the rungs, right? You may be somewhere in this triangle where you're not at the top, but if you're in here, you're still siphoning resources from the masses. And it's hard, right? Like, because you can get benefits from living in a capitalist society. And most of the planet lives with some form of capitalism. But it's hard to get those benefits. It's impossible to get those benefits from capitalism and have no one on this planet be hurt. But it's hard to get the benefits and know you're getting benefits at the cost of other people. It's hard. I'm glad you caught the live too, Dante. Okay. So yes. Oh, Erica's been stressed about how to take her babies with you. Are you in the membership? Join us. We'll tell you when the pets coaching session is. I don't have a date yet. We're gonna talk about it. Okay. All right. What's on my list that we haven't talked about? What are in the chat? Drop off your suggestions from how to divest from America. I think money is the first point. Money is the first part. And that's why I started there. But what are the ways that you want to divest? What are you going to do to get yourself out of the foxhole? Because I know you don't want to be at war. I know if you're watching this channel, you want ease, you want rest. You don't want to be at war. I see you, Teddy. And I do talk about Black men. Okay. So what are you going to do about your divesting? What is your plan? I had some notes about what to do when you're abroad. Buy from locals, right? Buy from locals. Find local news sources and pay attention to how your activities impact other people, right? There are going to be new things to consider, right? There are going to be new things to consider. And because you're going to parachute into a new system. It may look a lot like the old system, right? Capitalism in Mexico looks a lot like capitalism in the US. In a lot of ways, society in Mexico looks like society in the US. But you have to pay attention to the upstream consequences and the downstream consequences of what you do, right? And so paying attention more to who you are, what you value, and how your actions can align with your values will help you in America, and they will help you when you move abroad. You're gonna have a plan for your you'll have a plan for your life. You have a plan for 2025. I'm wishing you guys the best. I think that what we're talking about isn't easy, right? You're going to you're going to see things because empathy is at a lot of our core. Um, you're going to see things that are going to make you want, like, I know a lot of people are saying, like, I'm not involved anymore. You're going to see things and you're going to be fighting for someone else's rights soon. And that's not a problem. But I invite you to leave the fight behind, and leave the fight behind by leaving the country. America's not going to get better over the next 4 years, right? This isn't going to be a time of like healing and hand holding and togetherness. It's not. It's not. So, what are we going to do individually to take care of ourselves? Take care of yourself, right? Like, stop giving them people your money. Make a plan to move abroad. Eddie said you need a plan. Eddie, the expert, said you need a plan. So make a plan. If you're here, you probably attended an Exodus summit, and so you have a very good skeleton for your plan, if not more. If you have the Exodus Summit All Access Pass, you have until September 2025 to watch those videos. Make sure you're watching those videos. If you want more hand holding on your plan, join us in Exodus ASAP, and you'll be able to get that from Stephanie, from me, from Amina, who's in our community, from the other women in the community. It is what you need. Okay, I'm gonna do myself a favor real quick. I had to block you, Teddy, because telling us that we need unity when Black women been carrying the load for as long as Black women been Black ain't what we do. Go talk to your brothers about needing unity. That's not what we do here. Don't come to me talking about what I need to do for Black men. You have a problem and you're not addressing it the right way. You're not addressing it with the right people. No matter how many times you say I'm lovely, I am. I truly am. If divisiveness is your problem, you don't punch down, right? That's not the answer. It never is, never will be. Okay, on that note, I'm hungry. The membership is meeting soon, now-ish. Y'all know what to do. Okay, I guess I'm gonna address Black men. Someone said, how did we get so many Black men here today? We have so many Black men strangers here today because the word divest was in the title. And some of them came to talk shit, and we're looking for a reason to talk shit because they think we talk about divesting from them. We're not. We're not. But my regular Black men viewers, I know I don't hear from you a lot because some of y'all feel like you shouldn't say anything. Some of y'all feel like I might be mean to you if you say anything. I won't if you use your common sense. If you have the common sense it takes to watch this channel, and I believe in you, I believe you do, I'm not going to be mean to you. But showing up to mansplain or to center Black men, is gross, right? Just like if a white woman showed up talking about why are you talking to Black women and not white women, you would judge her because it's gross. It's gross in the same way when you try to center yourselves on a Black woman's channel. But for the rest of you, I hope this information, Black woman, you know I got you. It's always for you. Everything I do is for you. This conversation right now is for Black men. I hope you found this conversation helpful in some way. If you watched it today, if you're watching on the replay, say hi in the comments. Don't talk to me about being in a foxhole though, because never in my life will I be in a foxhole with you, with her, with she, with nobody. I will be in a lounge chair on the Lido deck. I will not be in a foxhole. So I hope you got some value from this video. I hope that even though this divesting conversation, all my conversations are aimed at Black women, I hope that you consider divesting too, because if this doesn't work unless we all do it together. Hey, Rich, you're welcome. It doesn't work unless we all do it together. We have to do this together, but I can't make you do it, right? And if you feel excluded because I didn't say your name specifically, or I didn't say anything about Black men, you're gonna have to feel excluded. You're gonna have, because it's gross and the orcas know. They know when you've been sleeping. They know when you're awake. They know when you came over here to mansplain or talk shit because you saw Black women finding joy. So be good for goodness sake. The orcas know. All right. Okay, friends. Sisters in the struggle, find your way out the struggle. Find your way out of the struggle. You know, I'll be here next week. We're going to do some more of this. I'm here for you to help you make a plan. Eddie reminded us we needed one. I want you to live your best lives. Carrie is in Croatia, living her best life. Y'all are over here, like, y'all make me so proud. This is a random tangent, but y'all make me so proud. You're unapologetically you. You live your best lives. You follow your values. You find your joy. And the people in the way get to the left, right? Like we're moving forward. We're moving forward. We're moving forward together. I love moving forward with people who want to move forward with me. I do not love moving forward with people who want to hold me back. There's gas. My foot is on the gas. We are moving, right? I'm not towing anybody behind me. You got to put your foot on the gas too. And for some people, that means watching other channels. And for some people, it means divesting from me. That's okay. That's okay, right? Like, find the thing that's going to put the gas in your car to get you where you want to go. Not the brake, the gas, for where you want to go, for where it's aligned with your values, for a journey that you want to take. For some of you, it's Exodus Summit. For some of you, it's Exodus ASAP. For some of you, it's Sunday mornings with me, Saturday mornings with Stephanie. Count it all joy, right? I love you guys being here. I'm really appreciative of you guys. I love how you rally behind me. And this is kind of a love fest. I might be getting sick. This might be the beginning of like some illness where I just want to hug and love everybody right now. Find your joy. Hold it tight. Don't let anyone tell you you don't deserve it. And don't let anyone tell you you have to do work for them for you to claim it for yourself, because you don't. Love y'all. See you later. Bye.